Athena Gray is she. She is Athena Gray, wife to wolf. In the wolf pack, there is the alpha male wolf and the alpha female wolf. They run right alongside each other. Wife to wolf is the alpha female wolf, and the alpha male wolf is...
Don't hesitate, just tell my lie, your fantasy, yeah. I'm sending chills up down your spine, and girl, I need it. Won't catch me in these streets. I play this game for keeps. Not could you say the least? Mixing dirty with the Sprite. I just smoke, babe, that's alright. In my zone, in my element. Gift from God, feeling heaven sent. This that new shit that I'm on. To the face, you know I'm gone. You say I'm always wrong, but keep coming back for more. Touching me, yeah. You see what I see with a real nigga like the way you need that. Don't hesitate, just in my life, girl, I need it. Won't catch me in these streets. I play this game for keeps. Now could you say the least? Touching me, yeah. You see what I see with a real nigga like that. What you need, yeah.
It almost dried up what was in this cup. Hello, I am Athena Gray, wife to wolf and with the wolf pack. Let's go through real quick, starting with Gray Wolf. Tell him hello, Gray Wolf.
Hey, Gray Wolf here, life coach, happy to help out and happy to listen to everyone this evening.
All right. Hello, Fire Wolf.
Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing today?
Hello, Dr. Love.
Hello. Dr. Love needs some love today.
In the building. And hello, Remus Wolf.
What's up, folks? It's Remus. Happy to be back with the Wolf Pack, wolfing it out.
Yeah, and we got She-Wolf here in the studio.
Yes. Hi, everybody. I'm here in the den.
All right, and what do wolves do? All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, thank you for joining us for our second show tonight. Topic is mental health triggered post-COVID. Tonight, this show is going to be led by yours truly, Dr. Love. Why, Dr. Love, will you be leading the show? Because you are a what?
I am a therapist, a crazy psychotherapist. Yes. Wolf by night, crazy psychotherapist by day.
All right. So Dr. Show is going to shed some of her Dr. Love tonight on the show and give us some insight. And the rest of us wolves will do what the Wolf Pack does, and that is support Dr. Love. So, first question. Has anyone experienced anything different post-COVID in the area of, say, mental health, what you've seen, heard, as far as supposedly the numbers are higher now post-COVID?
Yeah.
If you don't have anything to say, I got something to say.
Oh, I definitely have something to say. If that question was for me, Dr. Love. Personally, I'll talk about myself, but then also the people I work with and provide services for. But personally, I used to be really organized. I used to be, really together. I used to know how to talk to humans, not through a screen. And then this crazy thing called COVID happened where we're all wearing masks and it feels like a zombie apocalypse and you're like driving in your car with a mask on and you're like, is this real life? Because you're like looking around and everyone's wearing goggles and latex gloves. If you even see anybody. What I've been seeing with the people I've been providing services for is like, it's almost like everyone has regressed like 5 or 10 years age-wise, right? Like it's like they're going back to work for the first time, they're dating for the first time, they're like socializing they forgot how to talk to people. Like a lot of people just got either really really depressed, or some people actually thrived. because they were like, ooh, I don't have to deal with the daily stressors of like everyday life, right? And I work with anxiety disorders, so I see those people more. And they just, yeah, they're like everything from like, how do I go on a date to like, how do I like talk to a real human in real life in the office? Like, that's what I'm seeing. People just lost their skills, their social skills. And a lot of people are just like, who thrive off of other people's energy, were felt really isolated, and there's a lot of depression. And my phone was ringing off the hook. Like, I couldn't even answer.
Wow.
So that's my 2 cents about that.
Okay. So what I want to say that I probably experienced that I've never seen, it was absolutely insane, is I was driving in my car one day and I had my 2 teenage daughters in the car. And a guy was in the gas station. He started to pull out of the gas station. And this is before the gas prices went high, but it was kind of like right after we all got back out the house. And he stops and he's like, I guess the guy didn't give him the right amount of gas once his needle moved, whatever. So he stops his car, like coming out of the gas station parking lot, but enough so that I couldn't go past or the traffic behind me. And he starts screaming in his car, beating on the dashboard, punching the window, all this stuff. And his poor wife is in the passenger seat like this. And she's just looking down. She will not look up at him. And he's going crazy. He's like this. Look, he's like, fuck, punching the window. He's going crazy. He's screaming at the gas station attendant. And I'm the next car. He can't go because he's sitting. He's like hanging half out of the parking lot of the gas station in front of me. So I can't go because there's cars on the side of me. And there's a light. And so I decided to do exactly what his wife did. I sat like this. Because I did not want to make eye contact with this guy. You know what I mean? Because he was obviously having like a meltdown, right? He was having a meltdown and any little thing could have set him off. So the question that I have to you all is, during this time when people are finding it hard to deal, how do we help them deal? Because I could have been a fuel to the fire and I could have yelled, hey, you fucking asshole, get your goddamn car out the road, you spazzo. Right? I could have done that. But I didn't. I was like, you know what? This guy is having one hell of a day. And I was like, I looked at his wife and his wife showed me how to deal with it. Do you get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I was like this. And he performed for a while. And then finally, he backed up and let traffic go. I mean, we were out there for about a good 3 minutes. May have felt longer, but that's how long it was. But I knew that by me responding to him would just make matters worse.
Ooh. So, Tina, you got some wise mind there.
Tina didn't want her ass kicked.
I probably would have got my ass kicked because I would have been like,
Tina was in my ass.
You fucking stop talking to her like that or whatever. And then he would kick my ass.
Tina's ass wasn't in the mood for no kicking that day.
But how do you support people? That's the question, right?
Right.
On a serious note, I mean, I feel like just the way in that situation, I think you did the right thing, because like, it sounds like it was like an unsafe situation. And it's, the more you engage, like how I said I just would, because I'm those who can't do teach, right? So like I can't be calm and collected in some situations. So I teach others how to do that. Right. But I like in that situation, it might have even been unsafe, right? To like intervene. No. So like you didn't add fuel to the fire. Yeah. And you just like saw, okay, let me like kind of lay low here. But I mean, I'm trying to think in that specific situation how you would support someone, like, because it's not like you have like these like suicide hotline or like mental health hotline like flyers in your seat where you could be like, let me put this like on his like dashboard if he like goes into the store, right? Like you're not gonna go that kind of far. But I think just you had the empathy there. That's the answer.
But also the concern at the time was also is it going to stop or is he going to pull something out and start shooting next? Because at the end of the day, we were blocked. We couldn't go around him. There was nowhere to go. So it was like, okay. And that's another reason I didn't want to add fuel to the fire, because you don't know what anyone has in their car, right?
Exactly.
And
yeah,
you don't know how far they're willing to go, right? So it was kind of like, So does anyone else have another scenario they want to share before I go into another one?
Actually, I got a few scenarios. So COVID's been interesting for me because I probably have seen the worst and the best out of people. So a buddy of mine and I walked into a bar, and we didn't see the sign and this was way after, like, things started reopening and everything. So this wasn't in the height of COVID, but we walked into a bar, and the bouncer basically said, "Did you read the sign?" Very aggressively. And I had just walked in, and I didn't realize it was a small little, hole in the wall bar in the middle of nowhere. I had no idea. But anyway, the bouncer got really upset, got in my face, started yelling at me. And honestly, in that situation, I think a lot of people would freeze up and not know what to do. And in that situation, I calmly said to the gentleman, "Listen, I understand we messed up. And I understand that there was rules, but you can't talk to people like that, and you can't yell at me like that. And I'll have respect for you if you have respect for me."
Wow.
The reason why I tell you this story is because at the end of this discussion, the bouncer not only apologized, but bought me a drink. So
let me buy you a drink.
So in the situation where everything can get heated really fast and you can get carried away with emotion, it's important to stay grounded and try to de-escalate the situation.
A lot of it's not what you're saying, it's how you say it.
Exactly. What did I say? It's not the content, it's the context of the content. Good point, Firewolf. Now that's an excellent...
the tone of your voice, your body language when you said it to him.
Yes, that's an excellent response, Grey Wolf. And listeners, viewers, if you want to hear more of that, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button so you can hear more of that good stuff that Grey Wolf be talking. Dr. Love, anything else you want to share with us in regards to these scenarios and how we should deal with people, Dr. Love? Tell us how we should be handling people when we see that they are dealing with something heavier that kind of equates to mental health triggered scenarios.
Well, yeah, I guess first you should definitely assess if the situation's safe for you to intervene, right? Kind of like you did in that scenario, right? You were in the car and you don't know what's in that person's car. You see that person's not really thinking rationally and is emotionally hijacked in the moment, right? So that's probably not a safe situation to intervene. That's a situation where actually in the state of New Jersey, if you are not sure if someone needs mental health help, there's actually a service called Mobile Crisis. And the number is 201-262-HELP. And this is a free service. And they'll come to people and actually do an assessment instead of because sometimes police officers are just can be really insensitive. I mean, no offense to
right.
But
they're not trained for that. That's
they're
not what
not
they're
properly
trained for,
trained to do an assessment to see if someone needs a higher level of care of hospitalization or services. And these are trained therapists who can come very sensitively and be very gentle and kind of assess with the person wherever they are in the state of New Jersey, right? To see if they need services and to connect them.
Thank you, Dr. Love. Can you repeat that number one more time, please?
Yeah, it's only in New Jersey, and it's 201-262-HELP, but you can also call the National Suicide Hotline if you're having a hard time, because a lot of people are having a hard time during the pandemic.
Great.
And experiencing the after effects of the pandemic.
Thank you.
And I don't know this is so bad, but I don't know. I'm a bad Dr. Love, but I don't know off the top of my head what the number is. But let me Google that on the side right now, because we want to help as many people.
Thank you, Dr. Love. And for those of you who love Dr. Love because she's Dr. Love, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you can see more of her. All right. Remus.
You want me to say the number really quick?
Go ahead. Say the number, Dr. Love. Thank you.
Okay. It's 1-800-273-8255. And that is the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline.
Thank you. One question I have is, a lot of people self-medicate. And because people self-medicate, when I was looking up the statistics, they say that during COVID, because mental health was on a rise, that the opioid use also went up as well. I know it went up before that, but it went up again. Dr. Love, what is your advice on self-medicating?
Oh, it is a Band-Aid. And, I have a lot of empathy for people who do it. I'm not going to say I've never done it, and I'm a therapist, right? I like a good drink when I'm freaking out, right? They call alcohol like social lubricant for a reason, right? It definitely makes sense why people go to soothe themselves in ways that might take away their emotional pain, or make it easier for them to function in those situations where they're emotionally hijacked. And self-medication doesn't have to just be drug related, right? It's not always drugs or alcohol. It could be sex. It can be sex. Could be gambling. It could be food. It could be diet. Gambling, it could be extreme exercise. It can be really anything, but it's just something that takes over your life. And it's usually a short-term solution that creates pseudo solution, I like to call it, that creates more problems in the long term. Just think about it this way. You might be able to drink away your pain in the moment, but then the next day you might miss work, or and then you have financial situation, and it's like a domino effect from there. So I actually encourage people, with the help of, a trained professional or a really trusted and empathetic friend, to actually, or even just a journal if you don't have that, right? To lean into your pain a little bit, because that's actually data for you. Your brain is signaling something needs to change, or I need to lean into this and figure out what this emotion, why is my brain firing these chemicals?
Right. Okay.
Why am I having this emotional reaction? There's a reason for it. I shouldn't suppress it in some ways, because that's a message for me, and I need to figure out what that is, either in a journal,
thank you,
or with the help of someone else who
thank
I can
you,
trust.
Dr. Love. Thank you.
You got it.
All right. Yeah. So team, you got your mask on. You're a wolf, so you're fearless. Let's share. Have you ever felt depressed or anxious? Let's share.
I think we all have.
Yep.
All the time.
Yep.
Okay.
Else to the and I'm supposed to help people with that shit.
Common, not common.
How do you deal with it?
Depends on the day.
Yeah.
Exercise and work.
There you go. Yeah, exercise and work.
I try to gravitate to greatness. So anything that is great, I try to go to that, go for a walk, or exercise more today, or do arts and crafts, or something to get my mind off of what I'm dealing with for the moment. But I do know that I need to revisit it and try to find ways to fix that situation.
Okay.
I pray. It helps.
I'm sorry.
What do you do?
Say it again.
I pray.
Oh,
You cry? Is that what you said?
I said I pray.
Oh, pray.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It helps.
Definitely.
Pray it out. Okay. So what does that look like for those of you? Because some people may say, well, is that the same as manifestation? Does she do it out loud? Does she say it herself? Tell us what that looks like for those who want to do the same thing that Firewolf does.
Well, I mean, I'm a Christian. I believe in God, so I pray to God and Jesus. But it's, whatever works for you. Like you said, it could be manifesting. It's, it's just getting out what's going on in your mind. It's, speaking it to, the universe, your God, whatever your belief is. But it's a release.
And so let me ask you a question. So when you're done praying, do you feel it immediately? Does it take a few days? Does sometimes you feel it immediately and sometimes it takes a
I
while?
feel better right away.
I'm sorry?
I feel better right away.
All right. Listeners, do you hear that? She feels better right away. Okay. Thank you for sharing that, Firewolf. Okay. So anyone else want to, deep dive a little bit more into
Meditation and yoga. I like those
yoga?
also.
Yes. Yoga. Yes.
Yes, yoga, meditation, and your breathing. For people that have anxiety, there's huge help with your breathing and how to breathe in one nostril, out the other side, how to do different counts. For people that have panic attacks, the breathing is huge to slow down and take away your panic attacks.
Very good.
Yeah, on that note, again, well, if someone's in need of help, they should definitely get see a professional, right? Because this, not just listen to our lovely podcast, although I think it's great, but another way that people can deal with that is if you actually splash your face with freezing cold water, it actually drops your heart rate and switches on the part of your nervous system that tells you your brain to calm down. It's called the diver's response. So there's a trick if you're panicking and you just can't get out of this fight or flight mode and you don't like to breathe. Because some people, I think breathing works really well, but it's sort of something you need to practice because some people are afraid of their own bodies. Yeah, they're really freaked out by their own breath. That's not an uncommon experience.
All right. So has anybody here ever contemplated suicide?
I believe when I was younger, yeah, I definitely thought about it. I think it's a common thought in our society. And once again, if you do have those thoughts, I do recommend you speak to someone who's a professional because they can definitely guide you through those thoughts. And I wouldn't be afraid of telling anyone because although if they find you to be a danger to yourself, yes, they're obligated to protect you. But it's really important that you speak to someone's, that either a friend or a loved one and tell them, hey, listen, I'm having these thoughts, but I don't want to, hurt myself. I need help. And just talking it through can sometimes, help you through it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is an interesting fact too. I think research said something along the lines that almost every single human being at least one point in their life gets at least one suicidal thought. So it's a very common human experience. And it's most of the time it's not that people actually just want to actually die. It's that they feel so lost and they don't know what to do. And that feels like a solution, but it's actually a permanent solution to a temporary feeling. Right? Because nothing lasts forever, right? So you don't have to feel alone in a situation like that because there's always a way out, even if you can't see it, out of whatever dilemma you're in, is what I'm saying. And sometimes we're humans, we're tribal. We just need each other. And sometimes we just need help from other people to see things in a different way or get some information that we don't know.
Okay. So when I was 13, I attempted suicide. I took a whole bunch of my grandmother's pills. And I told my cousin, I said, I'm going to say goodbye to you now. She was 13 too. I said, because I'm going to die. And she's like, why are you going to die? I said, because I took a whole bunch of grandma's pills. And she said, well, why'd you do that? I said, I don't want to live anymore. And she said, why? And I named the reasons to her that I lived, where at 13 I thought my life was the absolute fucking worst. And I got really sick and I threw all of them the fuck up and I'm still here today.
Very good.
Now you're here. Clapping because you're here.
That you're here.
You know what? I just can't
And
do
clapping
shit
because
right.
vulnerability is cool. Thank you for telling us.
I can't even fucking commit suicide right.
What was that?
I said I can't even commit suicide right. Right?
That's because it's not your purpose.
Yeah.
You know, it's so
You're
funny.
supposed to be here.
Yeah, so
Exactly. You're supposed to be here.
my parents never knew. The only person who ever knew was my cousin. And once I threw all the pills up and slept like the whole day the next day, that was it. I just took all grandma's pills. I don't know what they were. I was just like, taking all this shit. I'm out of here. I'm done with this. I had it with life at 13. I never contemplated or thought about suicide again. And I think because I thought about it at such a young age and I lived, it allowed me to look at life differently and realize I'm supposed to be here, accept it, and make the best of it. Another time in my life that I dealt with heavy anxiety was I was going through a custody battle and I lost my children for 9 months. And I knew that my ex did not want the children. He wanted me because he said to me, come back to me. And I was like, no, think about it. When I didn't, next thing I know, he has a custody order against me because I'm an unfit mother. So I was like, okay, whatever. He had the children for 9 months and I couldn't go home at night. I ride around the block because I could not go in a house without my children in there. I'm not I smoked a lot of weed in the locker room in high school before cheer practice. But if you know me, you know I don't normally do drugs. But at that time, I had to have something to go in my house. Because of my kids not being in there, I couldn't go in. I couldn't sleep. I smoked so much goddamn weed in that 9 months, the cat used to come to me looking for it. Like, we're not fucking smoking tonight, bitch. It was to the point I had to hide the fucking weed from the cat while I was at work because he'd eat the shit.
Oh boy.
The cat became a fucking weed head. I was smoking that much weed that I didn't realize the poor fucking cat was getting contact. He got addicted. So I've dealt with anxiety, I've dealt with depression, I've dealt with suicide. And, you know, I got through it all. 13 and I don't know what, I was maybe 37 with the anxiety when I lost my children. During COVID, I'm a major introvert. So I got a lot of energy being alone. I charged up. I don't ever want to see the inside of an office again. But I realized that a lot of people are not like me. A lot of people who are extroverted, they get their energy the same way I get my energy from being alone. They get their energy from being around people. Mm-hmm. So I can't imagine if I had to go to work and I couldn't go home. I would probably fucking lose it. So I can understand when you can't charge and you can't recharge where that comes from. So anything else anybody wants to add before we go on to the next question?
Remus, you've been awfully quiet.
Hello.
Remus is probably thinking, where the hell was
reach out for help. You know, your people that are having these feelings, anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts could be overwhelming. And I think the danger is holding that inside, feeling scared, feeling ashamed, feeling weak. I think it's really dangerous to just hold those feelings inside. You have to ask for help, find someone you trust, and just let them know what's going on in your mind, what's going on in your heart, and just get it out.
Well, see, that's actually my downfall. I share nothing with no one until it's over.
Yeah, and that can be problematic. You know, you asked, like, what do I do? I have a few people in my life that I trust, you know, with anything. I have a lot of trust for them. And so if I ever get to a place, I can't ever say I've been suicidal because I haven't. I've never tried to kill myself or really seriously contemplated or thought about that, or I've never gone down that rabbit hole, fortunately. But I have had times when, you know, I felt defeated or I felt like in a hole where just things were beyond me and didn't know what to do, you know. And so I just, you know, I reached out and said, you know, I think I need help. Like, things aren't right. Things aren't, you know, I knew that my thinking just wasn't healthy. I didn't like the way I felt. And luckily, you know, I did have people that were able to help me, encourage me, and but, you know, it's like people, just like wolves, we're pack animals, right? We're meant to live in cities and communities and nations. And, you know, I think when you see a person that's isolates, then, you know, there's sickness there. It's not normal. But we live in families, you know, so I think it's very important. Even, you know, a person like me who is single or whatever, but I still have a group. I still have a pack. I still have a family, and you got to reach out. You can't, don't, it's isolation is dangerous.
I agree. Can I add something? This topic is actually very close to me because in 2018, I actually had like a 21-year-old family member, literally randomly, he killed himself. And he was just acting really weird the last couple months before, like, he was very social and he just stopped being social. He was the type who would never really he helped everybody else, but he would never ever talk about his feelings. But he loved working out so much, and it was so strange. He just stopped working out, and he was also very responsive. He would answer texts and calls all the time, but he just stopped answering. So those were the clues. Like, it's not always someone saying, I'm having a hard time. You can see by if you know someone's typical behavior and they start acting different. And sometimes you really need to try to pull it out of them. Because I have a lot of regret about that, because I thought it was just like a college, like, home for winter break, just want to be alone kind of thing. And I told my other family members to back off. So I felt, because they were like, what's going on? He's acting weird. Right. And I was like, ask him once, then back off. And, I'm going to regret that forever. So, like, now what I learned, unfortunately, life taught me in a really hard way, is if someone's acting really different, they don't always have to say, I'm having a hard time. Sometimes you can just see it because there's a really big change in their behavior. And some people might be feeling sad all the time, and then all of a sudden they feel really peaceful and happy. And that's because they decided they're going to do it.
Right. That's the thing I would say to you, Dr. Love. I understand that you have survivor's guilt, and I would never minimize that or the way you feel about your family member. But when someone decides, life is fragile, extremely, extremely fragile. We're used to watching Rambo where he gets shot, he pulls a bullet out of his arm and sews the wound up and all kind of stuff. But that's not the truth. The truth is life is fragile. And when someone makes that decision, they do it. They don't try to do it. You know what I mean? When someone decides that they want to end their life, the people that try, they're asking for help. You know what I mean? But the people that make that decision, and when they do it, it's a very final, it's a very, the way
They're
to,
successful.
you know what I mean?
Right.
If you really want to do it. And there are people that do it. And so we don't know why they do it. And to think that you can prevent someone from doing it, you can't. If someone makes that decision, you understand what I'm saying? And so you can't have that. There's your cousin or your family member that did that. It's so sad. And I'm so sorry that it happened to you, but it's not your fault. It's not. They made that decision. And, I'll tell a story that I don't ever really talk about, but it's a true story. When I was in college, I had a friend. I'll use his nickname was Shaggy. One night we were watching Shawshank Redemption. And there's a scene in Shawshank Redemption where Brooks hangs himself. Yeah. And during that scene, there are about 5 or 6 of us, very, very, very close friends. We were watching the movie, and Shag turns around to me and he says, there's a scene that says Brooks was here, and he hangs himself over this wooden beam. And Shag says, I think that's the worst way to go. And because I'm a Christian, I was like, no, I think, crucifixion would be the most horrible way to die. He said, no, I think hanging. Less than 24 hours later, he hung himself from the curtain rod in the bathroom. Basically asphyxiated. All he had to do was put his feet down. So he basically strangled himself to death. I had to leave school, went to a mental hospital for 90 days. I was on Thorazine, lithium. I had a nervous breakdown after that. I couldn't wrap my mind around, I just couldn't understand why he did that, and it messed me up bad. And, it's been like 25 years and it's still the thought of it.
They become involved in this dark hole, and all they can see is all this blackness. That's when somebody is attempting or doing it or thinking about it, it's because they're just everything around them is just black.
They see no way out. They see no other solution.
They can't see, they just feel like that's forever. Like that's just all that life is going to be. And like I think Dr. Love said it before that, nothing stays the same forever. Like you don't stay happy forever, but you also don't stay sad forever either.
All things are temporary.
Yeah, exactly.
But
But
wait
you
a
can't
minute.
see that.
Wait a
Like
minute.
it's just black. It's just
Let's just
you
ask
know.
a question. Like, you said some people don't stay sad forever. Now, I admire inspiring, optimistic people. But there are some people out there, and I know because I have a family member that nothing makes them happy. They're depressed. Give them their favorite food. Some days they want it, some days they don't, but it doesn't make them happy even on the days they want it. They are depressed without medication. They are depressed to the point that you ask yourself, am I being selfish by wanting them here? Because they're not happy here. And let's just accept the fact that everybody is not happy here. I mean, some of us are. I can say that right now, I don't want to leave, mostly for my kids, right? And I'm not unhappy here. But some people don't want to be here. That's just the reality that we all have trouble accepting.
Well, I
Some
mean,
people
what you're describing
don't
is
wanna
like
be
clinical depression. Someone that sees no good and no happiness, they have no joy.
Mm-hmm.
That person is sick. You know what I mean? They need like help. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean,
And maybe they're getting
that's
it.
not.
Right? Because like Dr. Love said, at what point do you know when to call for help? But let's talk about after the person's had help. They're on
It
medication.
sounds like it's bad help, honestly, because there is really bad help. There's actually harmful help. So that's actually an important thing to talk about. Like, right? Like, there's actually types of therapy that research shows makes things worse, like conversion therapy, which is type of therapy for people who are I do not support this type of therapy. I will say right out, right. If someone is decides they're gay, right, they can go to some very religious communities, they'll send them to conversion
That sounds
therapy
like
to convert
bullshit
their
to me. That
sexual
doesn't sound
orientation.
like therapy. That sounds like bullshit.
It's bullshit.
Because,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
If I
So
decide
that's a
right now
harmful
today
therapy.
that I want to get with Firewolf, everybody make it the fuck out my way.
Yeah, right? Because
You
it's
won't
bullshit.
convert me.
But I'm saying if some therapies are really not that effective, it's just like talking about your feelings and they're not giving you
Like you said,
signals.
it's harmful.
But since when do gay people need therapy? You
Well, that's a terrible type of therapy. It's
not
like
to
you see
change
it
the
in a lot
topic,
of
but if you put
religious communities. I think they actually outlawed it finally.
So there's 7 of us here right now, right? Not everybody likes the same thing in the bedroom. So at the end of the day, because you like something different in the bedroom, that means you need therapy. That's just absolute bullshit.
No, it is. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Like what you like.
But that's the point, is like that there's, this person might not be getting help from a person who's like really well trained in a type of therapy modality that actually works.
Right.
No, but
So
I mean, God made us all the way He made us, and He loves the way He made each of us, and He made them gay, and He loves them the way they are. Like,
right.
He doesn't, you know what I mean?
That's right.
It's so crazy that they're so like pinpointed.
Right, because you like to put it in the bedroom and you like to, have it out. Doesn't make you a good or bad person, less
Doesn't make you a
intelligent,
bad
less
person,
trustworthy,
exactly.
anything.
And not for nothing, I know gay couples that have more love between them than heterosexual couples.
Yeah.
And it's about loving your neighbor, loving, the people around you, your community.
And I think that's one thing the community needs to, let's just touch on the world for a second, with a quick hot second without changing the subject, right? But I think if we all learn to be more accepting, people wouldn't have to hide who they are. Sometimes the fact that people have to hide who they are causes depression in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the next question was, how can we help those dealing with mental health issues and depression, right? Which falls under depression is the umbrella, excuse me. One is being accepting of people just being whoever the fuck they are. You know what I mean? Whether they're, they decide they like women on Monday, men on Tuesday, even bestiology. They like a dog on Friday. No, see, now, Firewolf. I mean, what wolf are you? There's a goddamn wolf in here.
How you getting?
Wolf over there? Where's that wolf
Where
at?
he come from?
I don't, but listen. Listen, just accept people for who they are. I'm not into bestiality, although I'm a wolf. When I like to do things sexual, I go into human form, not wolf. No. Not wolves. But if anybody wants to fuck a wolf, I totally understand.
Whatever makes you happy, y'all, right? Like, no judgment.
No judgment. No judgment.
Right?
Because those interested in me don't even know they're interested in bestiality because I'm a
I wrote a paper in grad school on bestiality. Actually, it was really interesting.
Did Wife the Wolf just take us off topic? Going back.
What?
Let's rewind. All right. So now.
So the question was, how can we help people who are in need? And I have a really good suggestion, and it's actually practicing empathetic listening, and it's where you don't give any advice, and you sit there with an open heart, and you listen to your friends and your loved ones, and you try to understand what they're going through without passing any judgment or saying anything. It's just allowing someone to be heard. In the wellness community, this is called holding space for people, and it's something that a lot of people do need.
Oh, great. Okay, everybody, hit that like and subscribe button if you want to hear more of Grey Wolf.
Grey wisdom. I have a very good suggestion because everybody is. Well, I believe it is a very good suggestion, but because everybody's different and everyone has different needs, I think the best. This is my personal opinion, but I think the best way to support someone is to just ask them, "What do you need? How can I help you?" Right? Like, do you need to just vent? Do you need me to just listen, or do you need advice? Do you need feedback? Like, what would be helpful right now? Because I know I'm not going to assume your needs. I'm going to ask you how I can support you best during this time, and just communicating so much love, right? Like, I love and I care about you, right? And at the end of the day, right, if I do a shitty job supporting you, right, I just want you to know, like, I'm trying my best. I love you so much. That's really it, right? Because we all really just every human needs love. It's just a human need.
Dr. Love, I agree with you 100%, and I
Hit
love
the like
you so
and
much for saying
subscribe
that.
button again because Dr. Love is on a roll tonight.
That's my name. I'm Dr. Love.
Come on, team. Let's give her the howl.
Thank you, y'all.
All right. So here's the next question. Wolfpack, what are you doing to stay mentally healthy? Shall I go first?
You know, Athena, I think this is a broad topic, right? But I think talking to someone, talking to a mental health professional, and I can tell you, I had a hard time with this one because I had to see 5 different people before I found someone that I really liked talking to, and the first 4 were unhelpful, and some of them were very expensive. So I would say keep trying to find someone that you think is fits you, and it's okay to go to keep trying, and don't be afraid to let people know that their therapy is unhelpful, because then they can at least learn that, like, okay, well, maybe they could try something else. Another thing I like to do is exercise, weightlift. Moving your body in general changes your physiology. So that in itself makes a change in your body, and therefore will change your feelings one way or another. I believe we talked about meditation and other things like that.
Thank you, Grey Wolf.
That's a good thing about COVID too, is that a lot of the therapy is now available online, so it's more accessible. Bettertherapy.org. They offer really good online therapy, and they do like sliding scale for people that don't have a lot of money to spend on it, or if you don't have insurance, they work with you. So like I said, just the way that it's become more accessible has been a great thing, I think.
Thank you,
For
Firewolf.
me,
Remus.
I was saying, for me, a long time ago, I heard a therapist or someone say, healthy people have healthy relationships. So I'm constantly taking temperature checks. I'm constantly saying, how's my relationship with my family? How's my relationship with my coworkers? How's my relationship with my friends? How's my relationship with the guy behind the counter at the convenience store? And so when I find that I'm at odds with people, when I'm angry, when I'm in that victim mode, or I'm feeling like I need to get back at somebody, I know my mental health isn't good. And so I try to keep all my relationships with everyone. I try not to be at odds with people, not to have anyone angry with me, not to be angry with anyone, not to owe anyone anything, not to feel like anyone owes me anything. And just and that's when I seem like my mental health is at best. But it's a challenge.
Thank you, Remus. She-Wolf, you're in the studio today and you've been kind of quiet. Like, what's going on?
This is such a sensitive topic.
Okay, so what do you do to stay
But
mentally healthy?
what I do is I try to be giving. I try to have a giving heart always. Whatever I can do, I try my best. If it's to give someone a meal or to sit down and just have a sounding ear or whatever I can do. Anything.
That's good stuff. You know, my mom called me up around holidays, both Thanksgiving and Christmas, and she pulled up with her car packed full of canned goods and socks and envelopes with $25 in it. And we pulled up in downtown Newark and we handed out to all the homeless people. And I have to tell you, this is like no bullshit, that made me feel better than the best Christmas gift I ever got in my life. Like, I mean, it may not work for everyone, but for me, those people who were smiling and when they opened that envelope and saw the money or the canned goods or the meat or the, whatever it was that we gave them, the socks, I mean, that feeling, what it gave me. So to your point, thank you for pointing that out, She-Wolf. Giving and helping others does something for you. It really does. It does. It's, we all feed off of human energy, right? Like when a child starts daycare, they change when they come home based on who they're around and what kind of energy they're getting from that school. And those are things you need to consider when picking out a daycare. But we have to feed off of each other. So to your point, when you do things for other human beings and you make them feel good, they give you back an energy that in turn makes you feel good. And that goes into when you make other human beings feel bad. Right? Don't think you can say something mean, hurtful to another person and it's not going to affect you. That's bullshit.
No,
it will.
It will.
It affects you. What comes out of you is from you. So that's a really good point, She-Wolf. Thank you very much. Is there anything else you want to add to that?
Remember my shrimp, right?
What about the shrimp?
My coconut shrimp.
What about coconut shrimp? What that got to do with
givingness of it all?
Oh, okay. All right. Give out coconut shrimp too, because even to those who are allergic, just fuck them all up. Just give them. Just give them.
Or just eat the coconut shrimp too.
I'll give all my wolf pack some. Whatever I
Can
pick.
everybody in the wolf pack handle coconut shrimp? Because all she knows, she love it. So all y'all motherfuckers getting something. Dr. Love, what's your answer?
Okay. Well, it really depends on what's going on. But I mean, like what I need in the moment. I do this like little wise mind thing when I'm feeling like mentally healthy, which is not always.
Okay.
But when I'm like, what do I need right now? What does Dr. Love need? Right. And most of the time I just need some love. Right. So I treat myself in a way that's loving and compassionate. And that can mean anything from washing my face to sleeping to exercising, taking care of yourself like the way you would take care of someone that you love and care about, like a kid, right? And giving that back to you. That's what keeps you charged and going. And you can't pour from an empty cup, right? So like that's what helps me. But there are times, I will admit, where I need a quick fix. Okay. So like, and I make a very conscious choice about that usually. So I'm like, I need to go twerk on a dick right now or something.
Yeah.
what we were talking about last episode. Right? See last episode for more info. Like,
Just
don't
shoot
hit
that
click and
machine.
subscribe. Hit that too, but see last episode, right? But sometimes you just need to have like a hot girl summer, a hot boy summer, a hot person summer, whatever. You need to let loose. That
Yes.
can be actually really. I know that sounds weird, but that could be really recharging for me. So it really depends on. Do I need just some rest and relaxation, or do I need some fun in my life? Like whatever kind of love I'm needing in the moment, I like give it to myself.
Okay, I love it. I love it. So, Dr. Love, I have another question for you.
Yeah.
So, something you pointed out earlier, right, is how do we know when someone we love or someone we don't even love, we need to seek out emergency help for them?
I would just be in tune not to just what they're saying, but what they're doing. And that's like my big thing, my big take message for today, because a lot of times people are so ashamed they don't want to say it, how they're feeling. But if you see someone, one of the biggest body communications of shame is looking down, almost like you want to hide, right? So if somebody is like isolating, or if somebody's like, some people are very good at hiding their emotions. So they might be extra smiley where it almost seems performative. Like just anything that you see that seems off, if you know this person well, just say, hey, are you okay? Right? That's all. Are you okay? Are you sure? Because I noticed you're just acting different. And you could say the facts of what you're noticing. And then you can even be vulnerable yourself. I've had this hard time where this happened. It's normal to not feel good sometimes, and we all need help. Modeling that vulnerability can really help someone step out of the darkness. So I feel like be observant, right? Ask questions. It's not always going to be shared with you directly. So if you notice behavior that's off.
Got it. Next question. They've received help, right? They're on meds, and they're kind of back into society now, trying to live life and move forward. How do you support them?
Ask them. I would just ask them, how can I support you while you're going through this? And if they're like, I don't know, then you would say I have a couple ideas. Would it be helpful if we took a walk once a week? Would it be helpful if I called you and checked in? Like, would it be helpful if I gave you some space? Like, just if they're not sure, right? But like the person who knows the most what they need is them. Right. So I would just ask them and respond to their needs of what they're asking for.
Okay. All right. So I'd like to ask the entire pack to go through your needs. What do you need? Because I say that because so many, including myself, have trouble asking for what they need. Not that I'm depressed right now, dealing with anxiety. I think because I started young, no offense to anyone, I've mastered that. And I thank life that I started young with that, right? Because now I know how to deal with any of it. But for those of you who, have their needs, and I'll share my needs too. What are your needs? Share your needs so we can teach those watching us how to ask for what they need, including myself.
Lots and lots of hugs from my friends and family.
I'll give you a hug, Greg.
I will take it anytime. I think love is something so important, and I can't stress it enough. And also just staying healthy. So it's, an interesting thing about me is that a source of a lot of what was going on in my mental health, especially in my late 20s and 30s, was that my environment was very toxic. And that was from not only my living situation, but from what I was breathing in on a daily basis. So believe it or not, your mental health isn't always controlled by external stimulus. Sometimes it's something you're eating or something you're breathing in. This does affect you. So I mean, what I need is people around me to keep me on track, to maintain my healthy lifestyle and eat the right things, exercise, and honestly, the support is so important. Support. I can't tell you how important that is, because someone could say the wrong thing to me at the wrong time, and I could just kind of ruin my day. And I know we shouldn't let other people control our thoughts or impact us. But I think it's really hard, to do that.
Unless you've
Especially if
had a
you're
good
having
court
a hard
custody
time.
battle, you're not ready for it. But a good court custody battle for your kids, it'll teach you how to control your emotions.
I'm not there yet.
All right. Thank you, Grey Wolf. Moving
Or
on
a-
to She Wolf.
Or a psychopathic ex. Which is probably like you've dealt with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She Wolf, what do you need, honey? What you need, baby girl?
I need lots of love and understanding and patience.
Mm-hmm.
A whole bucket of that stuff.
I got that for you. All right. Thank you. Anything else? I'm not cutting you off. Love, patience, and understanding. A whole bucket of it. What else?
What else do I need?
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Thank you, dear. Remus, what do you need?
I agree with Firewolf. I'm a Christian. I feel an overwhelming sense of gratitude. I'm one for nothing. I'm not Buddhist, but I really do believe a lot of the pain and suffering in the world is from people wanting. They want to get high. They want to have sex. The desiring is what's making them sick. You know what I mean? And so, whether it's in my job being a home care provider or the things that I do, if I'm helping someone else, if I'm concerned about what you need and what you want and trying to get you what you want, I can't be thinking about my problems. It's impossible. You know what I mean? So if I'm being of service to you and to the people around me, then I can't be sitting around thinking like, oh, Remus doesn't have enough money, or Remus doesn't have this, or Remus doesn't have that, whatever the problem might be. So when I find myself self-obsessing, that's like alcoholism, the isms, I, self, me, self-obsession. And I think human beings, by nature, we're self-obsessed. What's in it for me? What can I get out of this? How come we compare ourselves to other people? We're envious, we're jealous. How come they have this and I don't have that? So whenever I have any of those kind of thoughts and I start thinking, woe is me, and I immediately begin to think, who can I help? What can
Thank you.
I'm not being of service. I'm not being helpful.
Thank you,
And it just
Remus.
it makes me more grateful. If I can help, especially if I help someone that's less fortunate than me, then I realize exactly how good I actually have it.
All
Things are
right.
pretty darn good. You know what I mean?
Thank
This
you.
person
Thank you,
is
Remus.
yeah.
Thank you, because we have 3 minutes left. Thank you so much, Remus. That's awesome, helping others. Firewolf?
Everybody needs a dog. That will solve 90% of your problems. Companionship, love. They are the best friend. It's true what they say. And everyone needs a couple good friends that you can call and vent to. Family's important. But I think like your friends that you can call up and just, be yourself with and vent and just get everything out, and they just listen to you. Like, I think Grey Wolf had said empathetic listening. I think that's key too. Everybody needs that,
That's right. My kitty was getting high right with me. Thank you, Firewolf. Dr. Love?
Similarly to She Wolf, I also just need lots of love and patience and understanding. But something that's really important to me is no judgment, because I'm like so self-conscious already. I judge myself 24/7. So when someone else is judging me, they don't even, and I could just feel it. Like it radiates off of them, and that makes me like want to crawl into a hole. They're just like a safe space where people aren't judging.
Okay. Thank you, Dr.
It's really
Love.
important to me.
Thank you. So, I'm going to answer this question in 2 parts. I'm going to go last like I do in the last minute or so left of the show. What do I need and what do I do to stay mentally insane? So, I start my day by masturbating. And then I... Wait, didn't she just talk, Dr. Love, about judging people? Like
It was
didn't
a
Dr.
clap.
No,
like,
I'm
that's
sorry.
awesome.
Wait. Didn't Dr. Love just talk about judging people, She Wolf? Because that look... Anyway. So, I start my day by masturbating, and then I have a nice, healthy breakfast that consists of beets and and avocados and sardines and crackers and blueberries for antioxidants. And then I masturbate again. And then I start my day by signing in for a Zoom call. And I make sure during my lunch hour I masturbate again, and then I take my vitamins. And my oxytocin.
I'm not judging you. I'm loving you.
My
I'm loving
oxytocin and serotonin.
Athena has her priorities.
I like this method fully.
My oxytocin and serotonin levels are high, and guess who I'm attached to? Me. All right, and on that note, we're gonna end the show. But make it all about you. Take care of your needs. Take care of your mental health. We love you.
And
Signing
no
out.
judgment.
Wife the Wolf and the Ice Pack.
Yeah.
Ow, 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 ow.
Bye, Pack.
Bye bye.
Shock. Not judgment. Shock.
And if there's a bathroom stall, I handle it there.